Hey everybody, my name is Brad Gagne and I'm a realtor with the Atkinson team in Calgary with EXP. And if you are truly wondering what is going on in the Calgary real estate market over the last month, then this video is for you. We are going to take a look at the benchmark price. We're going to look at current inventory, sales versus new listings, and days on market. And most importantly, we are going to discuss how this affects buyers and sellers going forward. So if you're interested in maybe making a move, then this video is for you. So make sure you hit like, and we're going to take a dive into the Calgary real estate market. So let's start with the citywide benchmark price. So that is the benchmark of every type of home across the board. And right now we are sitting at just over $586,000. Which does represent about a 3.5% decrease year over year and about 0.7% decrease month over month. Now, if we break it down by segment and we look at detached homes, we've actually seen them go up slightly, almost 0.5% year over year, and we are currently sitting at just over $764,000. Another segment of the housing market we've seen a bit of an increase in is those semi-detached homes. They have gone up nearly 4.5%, and the benchmark price for those is sitting at $696,000. Now, where we have seen maybe some stabilization or some cooling is in those row homes or townhouses. They've stayed relatively flat for the month over month this year and have gone up about 0.8%, and the benchmark price is now at $450,000. And where we have definitely seen some cooling off is in that condo or apartment segment, where we have come down 3.3% year over year, and we are now sitting at $335,500 as your benchmark price. So what do these numbers mean? Well, if we are still in the detached or semi-detached market, especially on the seller side, you are still seeing some positives. There is demand for your home. And if you're looking to sell, there are definitely going to be buyers out there. Great news for new sellers. As we move into those row homes or apartment style homes, that is where we have definitely seen the cooling off. And this represents a great opportunity for anybody looking to buy a home. Okay, so next stat is inventory, and Calgary is sitting at almost 7,000 listings right now, 6,941 to be exact. That is a massive 83% increase year over year, and our supply is sitting at just over 3 months. So what these numbers represent is Calgary has now shifted into a balanced market. Balanced market just equals less of a frenzy, less of a panic, definitely more room for negotiating. And we are still seeing detached homes, just like we talked about in the benchmark prices. They are still selling relatively quickly, but row and apartment homes are definitely cooling off, and they are kind of moving more into the favor of the buyer. All right, so now let's compare how houses are selling versus how many are listed. So sales dropped about 16.5% last month to just over 2,200 units sold, whereas new listings definitely went up, and we are at just over 4,200 listings, or just over an 11% increase over again this time last year. That moves our sales to new listing ratio down to a 54%, from this time last year where we were sitting at about 72%. So again, this definitely represents a shift in the market. And when we are in and around that 50% ratio, we are definitely in a balanced market. Whereas this time last year at 72%, we were in a seller's market. So again, what does this ratio mean? What do these numbers mean to us? Well, this means sellers are competing against each other. More houses for sale, less houses being sold, just equals more people in the market trying to move their homes. And this definitely represents a little bit more of a shift for buyers, especially, and again, in those condos and row row home segments, we now have a lot more options to choose from. So you are seeing buyers have a little bit more power when they come into the market and make offers. All right, so the last big number we're going to take a look at is days on market, and that has jumped significantly over the last year to 33 days now on average for a home to sell. And if we break that down a little bit further, detached homes are taking just over 30 days, where apartments and row houses on average are taking a little over 40. So if we break that down to what does it mean for sellers and what does it mean for buyers? Well, buyers, you now have a little more time. You can definitely negotiate on things like price, and you don't really have to rush or make uninformed guesses when purchasing your home. And for sellers, this just means you have to price it correctly. You need to come to market with a plan to make sure your home sells before that listing goes stale. Okay, sellers, so here is our winning strategy. Number one, we have to make sure it's priced correctly. So we want to compare current listings, pending sales, and recently sold homes to see what houses have been selling for in your community. Are they going for slightly above asking? Are they going for slightly under asking? We will then use that information to make sure the price we come to market with is really strong. The longer a house sits, the more likely it is going to go stale and it's going to lose attention. So we want to make sure that whatever price hits market is a good, strong price that will attract a lot of attention and get that home sold relatively quickly. The other big thing is we want to make sure we stage the house to wow buyers. So that is going to involve hiring a staging company and making sure that we get really well done photos and virtual tours. Every home buyer is going to shop online, and then when they find a house they like and they go to view it in person, you have to make sure that what they go into that day and tour is the exact same thing that they've seen online in their photos. So that means decluttering and cleaning up the house, trying to remove a lot of really personal items. We want it so when buyers come in and look, they can envision themselves in that space. And if all they can see is very personalized things, it could turn them off. We also want to be strategic when we come to market. So that summer window to sell is slowly starting to close. We are now in the middle of July. So if you are considering listing your home for sale, it would be wise to get it on market sooner rather than later. And the last thing we want to do is we want to make sure that your house stands out from the competition. So anything in your home that we could highlight, such as maybe any major renovations, if you have any green features to your home, such as solar panels, anything at all that we can use to differentiate your home from the competition, we can then use it to make sure that your house gets lots of attention from buyers. So even though this market might feel a little bit tougher from sellers or for sellers, if we do the right prep, then we can make sure your house comes to market with a strong price and still sells relatively fast. Okay, so now on the buyer side, not much has really changed. The good news is that we're not seeing as many bidding wars to get into those properties. But first thing you should always do when you're looking to buy is to get pre-approved and get that rate locked in. It is much easier to shop for a house when you know exactly how much you can afford, and sellers do want to know that you are pre-approved and guaranteed to get that mortgage. It makes them feel a lot safer if they decide to accept your offer. Another big thing for buyers right now is you could really take advantage of the cooling off of row houses and condos. There are definitely a lot more on the market to choose from, and that will give buyers a lot more negotiating power, especially on price and anything that they may really want when they're looking for a new home. And the last thing is we can use the current numbers just like we do on the seller side so that we know exactly what houses and condos or whatever it is you're looking at are selling for. And because we're not really panicked about houses selling within the first few days of them going to market, then we can really take the time when we find a property you like and compare it to how other things have been selling to make sure that you make a good, strong offer that is both fair to the seller and also saves you a little bit of money when you buy the house. So again, for buyers, we're not in a panic, we're not in a rush. We can definitely take our time, and there are some opportunities out there right now to get into some really amazing homes. So what this really truly means is that Calgary is now officially in a true balanced market, offering lots of leverage to buyers, but still options to sellers. So if you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I make weekly videos with buyers and seller tips. If you are ready for a customized report or you are interested in making a move, please reach out today and we can put together a smart plan for you to win in this market.